Hey everyone, Jimmy back here on the King Shocker Customs channel with another video on the Bronco series here. Now last week we left off doing the rear axle, making this truck a dually, and then we also got that engine out. I pulled the entire engine, transfer case and transmission assembly out of here and pretty much got this thing stripped to where it's almost at the rebuilding phase, but we still got one more week left of prep work. I got to get this front axle out because I'm putting the matching dually axle up front from the Super Duty donor truck with the 6.0, and then I got to do some prep work on the 6.0 engine for this truck, like studs. I got the shorter push rods, I got a couple other little things while I was out to do and take care of, and then this will just be a prep video basically for next week. Next week I'm hoping to have this engine back in the truck, turn the key and crank it up and get it to start, at least probably not driving, but at least started and running in this chassis. So you got to do some prep work, like all things. Got to take it step by step and sort of get the stuff done up front. So tonight I got a little bit of free time. I want to get this axle done before it gets too late, and then tomorrow keep cranking away and hopefully get this new axle mounted up. I got a whole kit for that, so I'll be sure to show you just pretty much everything I'm doing here. And let me give you a quick walk around for people who may be new or not keeping up with the videos, so you guys know what's going on. All right, so let me give you a quick walk around of the truck again, just for new people. And if you've been keeping up with it, don't think that this video is just a waste of a video, because the prep work is crucial to getting that engine over there in this truck. So this will still be an entertaining video, I think, for you guys to watch. So don't click away just yet. It's gonna be a pretty good video, I think, by the end of it. Especially got a little bit of fabrication going on, a little bit of new parts, expensive parts going in, and that sort of deal. So this thing's gonna be basically at the end of this week ready to get this thing basically just bolted in pretty much. So then I'll work on the wiring after that, but that's where I'm at right now. Just want to show you this. This is a 6.0 engine, the whole assembly. And if you didn't see last week, I made it a dually. I got that Super Duty dually axle underneath there. So that's where I'm at. And tonight, just to kick this video off real quick, I'm gonna basically take this axle, separate it from the frame, and then we'll move on tomorrow to getting the solid axle back underneath and then fabricating a couple things. But like I said in the last video too, a couple of the challenges is gonna be getting this motor to mount up correctly. And if you see this cross member in here, this is a gasoline cross member from the old engine. And it's got this big circle in here, which is for the oil filter, and it's got these extensions too, which we aren't going to be using that. We're not even going to be using this cross member. I'm going to step it up to the 7.3 old body style cross member, which you can see here. It's got the mounting plates. I even got the mounts off the truck because I'm going to try to utilize that and get this thing to sit in there in that engine cradle nicely. And then that's going to be something that we're doing in this video. And then that's pretty much going to be what we're looking forward to. We're going to stud the 6.0 one at a time, like I said, and just keep it moving, getting this thing ready to go. So let's get started. Well, that's it for the night. I'm gonna call it a night. I got a good deal done, got that axle out just like I wanted to over here on the ground. It wasn't really that bad, but I just wanted to get that out of the way because now tomorrow I can just start fresh and not have to take stuff off. I can kind of work towards building it back up. So good day overall. Quick, maybe an hour and a half I just got in, so I'm gonna call it a night, and tomorrow I'll come back and I'll get the rest done. It's the following morning here, and I'm ready to get some more work done on this thing. Last night got the axle out, wasn't really that bad. Getting the new axle in, the solid axle in the front with the leafs, is going to be a bit more challenging. So to help me out here, I actually ordered a kit. Let me show you here. I got this kit in this box. Made by Skies Off-Road Design. It's a solid axle swap kit for the old body Broncos and F-150s. So it's basically like a weld-on kit. So unfortunately I have to do all the work. It's not just like a bolt-on and go. It's got to measure everything. So I am going to do that today. Take my time and get this axle under here situated. Make sure everything's square and stuff like that, and then go from there. All right, quick update here. Got the coil buckets off, and now I'm just lining the axle up just to see what it looks like, and I think it looks pretty cool with both the matching axles. But I got to get this kit lined up and kind of welded in now, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm just going to take my time, measure it, and kind of do that, and I'll show you the end result, what it looks like. I will say this is the only thing I'm not pleased about with this kit, is that there's no instructions. They give you online, there's like a small PDF. It's less than ideal for what this entails. I mean, I'm gonna be able to do it, but in the box, I think, especially since you're spending, I think this was over 500 bucks. After shipping, I think it came out to like 650 or 700 bucks. They should have some sort of instructions with this that are more than just a picture. They have like 2 pictures of what to do, and that's it. So they should really have better instructions, especially for the amount of money the kit costs. But other than that, I'm not going to complain about it. I think it's a good kit, quality made, but for sure it does have that flaw of not having instructions. All right, I just got this cross member tacked in here, and I'm very, very happy with the way this came out. I spent like a good hour measuring it to figure out exactly where it had to go. And I spent my afternoon kind of just making sure that this was 100% dead on in the right spot, because like I said before, you only really get one shot at this. You don't want to be doing it more than once. You don't want to cut welds and do that, so I'd rather just have it be right the first time. So this is actually where I'm gonna call it for the afternoon here. That one is the hard one. The 2 in the back are not as bad to line it up, because now I actually have a basis of where to line it up from. Just measure it from the front to the back there, and then those rear hangers can go in for the shackles, and then we can get this axle right bolted up easily and be on our way. But tomorrow I'm going to plate that, and you see I got the 3 tacks on it right now on each side. I did the inside too, so it's tacked in there, ain't going anywhere. But I want to definitely plate it so that it's safe and secure there and 100% reliable. So see you guys tomorrow. Okay, got that done. They may not be the best, but they'll do. The outside's plated, and now I'm gonna plate the insides. And this thing isn't gonna go anywhere. You can see that's straight. I got that piece of metal is actually cut on a slant just because of the way the frame goes. Okay, now I got the rear shackle hangers hung, and the shackles are in. So it's time to bolt the axle up officially now. That came out pretty good back there. I was able to weld it, tack it in place, and then I bolted it. So I ended up drilling the holes and bolting it. But yeah, it's pretty much good. I mean, everything is straight. I measured it probably 50 times, and like, not even kidding, 50 times from between everything. Probably took 50 measurements, and it's spot on. So this thing should be straight as an arrow. So I am gonna go ahead and bolt the rest of it up, get the leaves in, and then this thing will be ready to move again on its own weight. All right, little update. The Bronco is now sitting on its own weight here with the leaves in and the front axle. Now we got matching axles. Finally got that done yesterday. Lining it up wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as the rear, but it's in, and it like will steer. Looks a little different, doesn't it? That's gonna work out fine once I weld that. Let's check out this one over here. Looks like the old one now. Looks like the gasser. Here you're probably like, what the heck? why did he cut the cross member and kind of patch one together? And to answer that is because the 7.3 cross member, there was really no way to get the cross member out without really separating the frame. Originally I thought it may have been able to slide like right in between, but just wasn't the case. So I decided, I saw this on a forum, so I decided to make my own out of the two. So just keep watching. I got it nice and trimmed down so that it fits pretty much right in that slot, and I'll be able to just weld it, get good weld on there. And I mean, it's gonna look, it looks almost like the other one as it sits basically. So I mean, it's gonna work just fine. All right, I got it welded in there, and that looks really good. Came out great. Now the plate fits on here real nice. Boom, just like it was supposed to be. Pretty good. I'll get that bolted up now, and then we can move on. Oh yeah, look at that. Got some nice paint on there. This thing's shaping up, looking good. Look at that. We don't want those bare spots to rust. We're getting there, getting there. Now we can I can kind of turn my attention over to the engine. That's gonna be tomorrow's deal. I just wanted to spend a good 2-3 days really squaring up this front axle and that cross member. I really wanted to take my time and make that as good as it could possibly be, because like I said, we're down this far. I got this thing stripped this far. I want to do it right the first time, so I just take a little extra time to make sure it's right, and then that's it. So moving on to this now, I just bought a bunch of goodies and finally got some of them. I got a whole bottom end reseal kit from Ford, pretty much every gasket that's down there, so that once this thing's set in the frame, it doesn't have to come back out. To do the heads, obviously, later down the road, the motor can just stay right in the frame. Everything else I'll be able to do, so it won't have to come out. I'm talking like oil pan will be good, front cover, I'm going to reseal that. There's a gasket there, a couple other little things like the front oil pump and the rear mainsail. Do that. I got pretty much everything that is on that bottom end in that kit, which I'll be sure to show you guys. And then just a couple other little things. Like I said, I'm going to do the studs. I'm going to do them tomorrow. And I got the shorter push rods, and I got actually just like a little O-rings for the turbo and the drain there. So while it's here, have the turbo off and just do that. So yeah, it's been one of those days, a little dirty. But that's just me putting the work in. As simple as that. Stuff's not going to get done by itself, so somebody's got to do it. But look at that. Check that out. Came out good. So see you guys tomorrow. All right, got the valve cover off, and I'm going to go ahead and stud this first. It's just crazy, though, to look at this. You can see the difference just between the outside bolt and the inside bolt. It's pretty crazy that this used to look like that when it was brand new. I mean, that just shows you what the elements do. I mean, I know it's only surface rust, but it's crazy to think that was once new, like looking like that. So anyways, let's go ahead. I'm gonna do this one stud at a time, follow the torque sequence. Basically what I'm gonna do is, like I said, one at a time. I'm gonna figure out what it's torqued to, and then I'm gonna put the new stud back in pretty much where the old one was. I'm going to do one by one and following that torque sequence. And then after I have them all in, then I'm going to do the torque procedure to get it up to the 210 that it's got to be from there. So I'm going to put them basically to where they're at right now, all 10 of them, just like one by one. And then after that, I will, like I said, torque them to the 210. First head bolt's coming out. Pieces of junk. Think about this bolt. A big failure. Think about how much money this bolt and, well, this whole design with the only 10 head bolts cost. What a disgrace. That's a disappointment. So, see you in the trash, buddy. ARP stud on the way back in. We install this stud lube on the washer itself, and then the nut with the threads too, and then also on the threads of the stud over here. There's number 1 done. Starting to work on the second one. Just gonna keep going until I get them all done, and then we'll run through that torque sequence. Ooh, let me tell you, 210 is a lot of foot-pounds for torque on that. I mean, it's gotta kind of put your whole body into the wrench there. And when I was originally using these because I didn't have the right 12-point socket. I only had a 3/8 size, so I had to reduce it with my torque wrench. And I snapped 2 of these doing that. So then I finally got the right socket. But wow, I mean, I literally had to throw my entire body into that. I'm not out of breath over here torquing these up, but there's one side. The driver's side is studded. So all the way up to 210. And now I'm gonna scoop this thing out and do the passenger side. Nothing's ever easy, is it? Now, I just got this disappointing news for everyone. I got a borescope in, and I remember from, I think like 2 videos ago, when I was actually tearing down the 6.0, when I first bought it, it was hydro-locked, and it ended up being a broken injector tip. And so before I really wanted to put money into this, I wanted to really figure out if that did damage. So I got a borescope finally, and I put it down through the injector cup right into the cylinder to look at the piston, and I'll show you what I found. So the first time I did it, the piston was actually up, and all there was the center part, and my initial thought was, damn, it's cracked. And then I looked further and I zoomed in and I saw that it was jagged edges on that shaded line, and it turned out to just be a shadow. So what I did the next time was I cranked the engine over by hand, and then I was able to see down in there a little bit better to get the whole piston. And of course, there was a bunch of gouges in that piston, a bunch of nicks. So it is apparent that that injector tip kind of destroyed some of that piston there. As it came up, it probably got pushed up against the valves and stuff in the top of the head. So I was going to progress and put some more money into this, like gaskets and all that, but at this point I'm not going to do that because it's definitely, in some point, it's going to need a piston. But the bright side is that it did run. It ran good. It didn't seem to have like any apparent problems when I was driving it and kind of getting my foot on the pedal. It didn't really have any hesitation or loss of power or none of that. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead and still put this in. I'm going to continue with the studs. I'm going to do the other side. And this is going to be a complete test bed engine. I literally have like nothing to lose. I'm not going to do any gaskets on it. I'm not going to really put any more money into the engine other than I already did the studs. So, oh well, it is at that point. But it's going to be a test bed engine, and I'm going to really run it hard and see if I can get this one stud at a time to fail, and see what happens there. Because I mean, I'm gonna have to do a new engine at some point, or fix this one with new pistons, at least one. I don't think any of the others are damaged, but who knows? I mean, like I said, I only got the borescope down into the 1 so far, but I'm gonna run it. So partially good news for me and for you is that I don't have to spend the time doing all that extra work. Like I was going to disconnect the transmission and do the rear main seal and all that stuff and do the oil pan and do the front cover. But like I said, I'm not doing that anymore. So that's good for you guys because the 6.0 is going to go into the truck sooner. It's bad for me, obviously, because the piston is damaged and who knows how long it's going to last. The cylinder walls actually looked like they were in good shape. I was able to get the camera turned. So maybe just the top of the piston's damaged, and I don't know. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to run it as long as I can, and then we're either going to have a failure or it's just going to do something. I don't know. It's going to be a test engine, and then at some point down the road, I'll swap a new one in, or I'll either rebuild it or something. But for right now, I got to get it in, make sure that it runs in the Bronco. So, like I said, disappointing news, but it is what it is. You know, that's costs money to do this stuff, so I got to deal with it and got to play it smart sometimes, because this would have burned my pocket if I would have went and put all gaskets on it, not knowing that was the case, and then down the road figure something out goes wrong, and then this engine is toast or something, and it's got to be rebuilt. So who knows? But yeah, it is what it is. It's just how the game works. It's got its ups and its downs, and this is partially one, but at least it still runs, you know, like I said, it still runs. I know it runs good, and it didn't have any apparent problems. It wasn't smoking, it wasn't burning oil, it wasn't consuming coolant. It really wasn't doing anything out of the ordinary. So maybe we can run it. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It'll definitely get in here and start up. I know that, and I'll be able to drive the truck. It's just a case of how long that will last, or if there's any other damage that will kind of shine through there in the long run. But we'll see what happens. We'll see if the one stud at a time works, if I blow a head gasket or something like that. Down the road, I'll figure something else out for another engine or rebuild this one. All right, so that's where I'm going to end this video. I'm pretty disappointed by that piston, obviously, there in those clips, but I did all the work to the engine pretty much I wanted to. I was already studded on one side when I found that out, so I just did it on the other side, and that was pretty much it. Because like I said, I'm not going to bother to do any of that stuff at the moment, at least, because we're going to see how this thing runs long term and see what happens. But it is what it is, you know. And then the rest of the thing is pretty much ready for this engine to be dropped in. I even reinforced the frame back in there. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that because it's painted black, but I reinforced it with plates to box it in so that there's a little more support there. I didn't feel comfortable with that just being wide open like that, like the C channel. I didn't really like that, so I wanted to box it in, so that's what I did, and that's pretty much where I'm gonna leave this video off. So next week, which is actually starting right now today for me, the engine's gonna be going in the truck, so you guys will see that on next week's video. So if you're new and you're not subscribed, I recommend hitting that subscribe button so you can see that and you won't want to miss that. And then hopefully by the end of the week, I have it just like started in the frame, like nothing special, but just at least started and running in the frame, and then from there it'll be a rebuild of the whole truck. So with that said, hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next week.